the far side, the Tifo display, 150 years of history, rivalry and passion. And the two captains lead the side out onto, well, what is an excellent Hampden playing surface. Fantastic response from the fans all around the stadium. And the atmosphere indeed is something pretty special. Oh my goodness, they have just unfurled the big banner that was out there on the pitch. And it says, there's only one Craig Brown, 1940 to 2023. National Anthem of England now. I don't know that any of you at home actually would have heard the English national anthem there for the booing that there was from the Scotland fans. Perhaps you will hear Flower of Scotland a little more clearly. But the national anthems there, what a lovely touch that was by the Scottish FA. The big banner that was unfurled with a huge picture of a very happy looking Craig Brown, and the message on the banner, there's only one Craig Brown. He would have loved to have been here tonight. Incredible. So many people have affected this fixture. They've played their part over the years. Who will be the heroes tonight? You're about to find out. We'll get more from Craig Levein at half-time. It's full live commentary here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland with Leanne Crichton, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Thank you, Richard. The oldest international football fixture in the world. What a setting. Dusk falling on Glasgow's south side, the floodlights on, the pitch beaming up, lush green, as the Scotland players break away from the pre-match team photograph. It's the 116th meeting between these two. Scotland have won 41, England have won 48. There have been 26 draws, including the last two meetings. The 2-2 here in World Cup qualifying for the finals in Russia, that coming back in 2017. Those two Griffiths free kicks. Harry Kane nabbed an equaliser right at the death. And of course the meeting at Euro 2020 at Wembley, which finished goalless. Scotland looking for a first home win over England since a 1-0 Rouse Cup victory here at Hampden under Jock Stein in May '85. Dundee United, Richard Gough scoring the only goal of the game on 70 minutes with a header from a Jim Bett cross. That's the only time they've beaten England on Scottish soil since 1976. This is just a friendly, but a win again tonight will keep the momentum going. But let's not forget, it could be a seminal moment for a very different reason, with possible Euro 2024 qualification tonight as well, depending on what goes on in Oslo. Meantime, Hampden Park will pay tribute to the legendary Craig Brown. Tragedies that are unfolding in Morocco and Libya as well. UEFA holding minutes silences for those as well. Awful events. And tribute paid as well to Craig Brown, as I say, pre-match here at Hampden. We'll kick off in this fantastic looking kit that they have commissioned for particularly this game, but the event to the 150 years of history of this fixture. They're going to go left to right, shooting towards the east stand. It will be England in the white shirts, blue shorts, white socks. Scotland navy blue, white shorts and red socks. Very traditional. One last Hampden roar before kick-off, and the Italian referee will get this game underway. I will keep you up to date with goings-on in Oslo as Scotland kick off. Kilmore back to Tierney, and he hits it long with the left foot. Look at Adams. Underneath it is Declan Rice, though. Little cushion header from Rashford as well, and it's back on the 18-yard line. And Marguerite, who is trying to build himself as one of the starters, regular starters for this England team, who are also unbeaten in their Euro 2024 qualifying group, Paul, but though they dropped a couple of points against Ukraine and Poland, as that's flipped up the line down on this near side by Trippier, and Calvin Phillips to Rashford, who flicks on to the halfway line when it's met by Hendry. Though back to Phillips, who's only had, I think, 6 minutes of action for Manchester City this season. To the right of the centre circle for Kyle Walker, and he rolls it back to Declan Rice. Arsenal's most expensive signing, over 100 million it was, as that slipped through towards Kane. Gunn comes out and smothers at the feet of the now Bayern Munich striker, England's record scorer, as we tick into the second minute. Angus Gunn there, of course, was part of the England set-up for a brief time, and he's made a fabulous start to his Scotland career, and he's got a first feel of the ball, though I think the flag actually went up in any case against Harry Kane.
Yeah, I think he was just a little bit too quick off his mark there, although you've got to give credit to the Scotland back three as well, keeping the high line and, you know, allowing him to run in behind, and the knowledge that he would have been flagged offside if he was quick enough to get onto that ball.
Scotland have won their last 6 home matches in a row, conceding just 1 goal, scored by Ireland's John Egan almost a year ago. The last one 6 in a row at home between May 06 and October 07, a run which included the famous win over France here thanks to Gary Caldwell's goal. They haven't won 7 home games in a row since winning 12 in a row between 1874 and 1886, as England come down the right with Walker. Walker crosses, cut out by Robertson, and England have the first corner of the evening. But that particular statistic about home victories in succession just again underlines just how good a place Steve Clarke's team are in, Leanne.
Yeah, it's frightening that that's a record that's lasted as long as it has, and it would be incredible if they could continue to grow and get that 7th one. Just a good bit of play there from England. I actually thought it was a bit risky the way they built up across the middle of the pitch, but they eventually get down that right hand side, and Andy Robertson forced to defend it for the corner.
It'll be Newcastle's Trippier to take, out-swinging right-footed corner from that northwest corner over on the far side. The referee's not happy with something in the middle. I think it's McGinn and Rashford who have got arms over each other. And Kieran Trippier will take this. Right-footed, angles it in towards the penalty spot. It's going to break Declan Rice's way. He's got time to take a touch. Lofts it towards the back post. Gunn comes and punches away. It's only half clear though. England will come again. Back to Phillips, who sweeps it back to the edge of the centre circle, and it's kept alive out to Declan Rice on this near side. by Kyle Walker. Back into the centre circle for Phillips. And then Rice. Rashford's on the touchline on this near side. Bellingham ahead of him. Bellingham wearing the number 10. He's begun his Real Madrid career so well. Let's move to the right of the centre circle for Lewis Dunk, who earns just the second cap tonight. Threaded ball towards Phil Foden, will again be comfortable enough for Angus Gunn. He comes out and slides onto it. 3.5 in, England with all the ball so far.
It's a confident start though from Angus Gunn, isn't it? I mean, I thought he did really well with the cross thrown into the back post. He came out, he took control of it, got a real good fist on it. You know, and his movement off the line as well has been impressive. You know, just to take control of these two balls that's been played through. So he's been under a little bit of pressure, but handled it extremely well.
Fell down on this near side by Bellingham. It's a free kick to Scotland. It was actually a good play by Billy Gilmour. He got the nutmeg as well on Bellingham before he was obstructed and brought down. There's Kieran Tierney with a long ball with a left foot down the left-hand side for Robertson. Headed away by Walker. Che Adams trying to win it back off Phillips. Down goes Phillips and the free kick goes England's way, just beyond the midway point of their own half.
Yeah, I don't think you can have too many complaints there. Just a couple of bites at Calvin Phillips. Che Adams initially. I think Callum McGregor's in there as well. The referee gives him the benefit of the doubt.
What a front four that is for England if you include Bellingham in there playing the number 10, wearing the number 10 with Rashford, Foden and Kane oozing with talent as Phillips rolls it back the way to Dunk, and now it's moved to Gay of Crystal Palace, now to Trippier on the near side. Back to Gay and then to Rice. He goes back to his goalkeeper, who tonight is Arsenal's Aaron Ramsdale, in for Jordan Pickford, winning his 4th cap only. And he's on the ball inside his own box.
You can see the shape came out of Scotland, just a bit more aggressive in the press, but they do need to be careful because England are a good side and they're good enough to play through it. But you can see McGinn and McTominay up there supporting Adams with the front three.
The ball forward by Trippier down the left for Rashford. Rashford will take on Porteous, who makes the challenge, and it goes out off Porteous last for England's second corner. And what's been a bright start by Gareth Southgate's team.
Well, controlled the game, haven't they, really? You know, Scotland not really seeing too much of the ball. You know, it's been cool, it's been calm, it's been, you know, a slow build-up from England. And they've looked to get in behind Scotland. They haven't managed to do it yet, but they're willing in that final third to play the pass in behind.
Corner then to be taken on this near side for England. Plenty of players round about the penalty spot. There is one in the 6-yard area as it's put in by Trippier and headed back out by Adams. Breaks back to Trippier on the near side. Rolls it back along the grass to Phillips. Angle ball with the right foot towards the back end of the box, where it's headed behind by Hickey. And the England pressure will continue with their 3rd corner in just over 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's a couple of dangerous deliveries. Adams does really well with the first defensive header, but England are ringing the box really well. Scotland not quick enough to get out to it. Calvin Phillips looks to deliver to the back area, and Hickey, at this stage of the game, there's no point in taking chances when you don't know what's over your shoulder.
Steve Clarke at the edge of his technical area, trying to make his way through the din of the Hampden crowd as the corner comes in. It's headed over wide actually by Dunk in the end, 6 yards out, and it's harmless enough, and it will be a goal kick to Scotland. It will stay nothing each, as it is in the early stages in Oslo between Norway and Georgia in qualifying Group A. Scotland, of course, top of that group. As England come forward again, Scotland can't get a feel of the ball whatsoever as Walker is challenged brilliantly by Tierney. Down goes Tierney. Will be a throw-in and a free kick. The Scotland supporters howling for a free kick as Tierney was upended. He's still lying on the deck. The referee coming over to see him. It's an England throw as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
It's Kyle Walker's challenge.
I don't think it was a free kick. I think a really awkward attempt to play the ball out from Tierney. And I think he's twisted something, it looks like. There's maybe a wee bit of contact there.
I think
he's okay.
Catches him with a knee, really, just at his lower back, ever so slightly, but nothing in it. But Tierney does well, actually, because he gave the ball away initially, but he got himself back in goal side to deal with that.
Okay, for England as it's moved back into their own half to Trippier on the near side. I should say Erling Haaland leading the line for Norway tonight. Kvaratskhelia in the Georgia team as well. Two of the biggest superstars in European football going head to head in Oslo. It was a draw between those two when they met in Batumi on match day 2, or match day 1 rather, as that was out of play for a throw-in to England deep inside their own half. Scotland finally able to relieve some of the pressure with only Angus Gunn in Scotland territory right now. 0-0. Just over 8 minutes played.
Yeah, I'm sure Scotland would like to have seen far more of the ball, you know, as we approach 8-10 minutes or so into this game. But at the same time, no harm done, but you can see the quality that the English side have. You know, that they're very comfortable on the ball. I don't know if we're playing a particularly high press, but we're getting up there, but we're not really putting, I don't think, the two centre-backs under any real pressure. They're being allowed to pass it quite, you know, at will. And so far we really haven't taken part, have we? But it's still early, and I'm sure that the moments will come.
Tierney out to Robertson on the left, infield to McGregor, and now with Billy Gilmour, who's been outstanding this season for Brighton. He was outstanding against Cyprus on Friday night as McTominay picks it up and slips to the right of the centre circle for Porteous in the England half, out wide right for Hickey. Hickey goes back to Porteous, and his first international goal in that game in Larnaca last week. Comes back to Hendry in the centre circle to McGregor, out to Porteous, who flips it forward. It's going to be straight to Declan Rice, though. He gets there ahead of McTominay and fires it forward to Rashford, who's on the turn. Bellingham in support, does find Bellingham, who's brought to the ground by McGregor, and England will have a free kick about 6 yards inside the Scotland half, down below us in front of Steve Clarke.
Yeah, Callum McGregor just gives the free kick away. Scotland just had to go chasing there. Porteous giving the ball away, just a short pass to McTominay. But Scotland will try and play that, as Willie mentioned. They're just under a bit of pressure. England have started the game well at a decent tempo, looking to move the ball, but they move it with a purpose at times, Liam. They don't just keep possession for the sake of it. They look to try and get into the final third as quickly as they can. They'll draw you in, suck you in, as they're doing just now. Scotland get, you know, 6 bodies in the opposition half.
Robertson winning it back for the Scots on the far side and winning the throw and off Walker as well. It's brilliant from the skipper.
No, it is, and you know, he's up there really quick, doesn't give Walker any time whatsoever, and I think it's just that little press, you know, that they are high enough up, but they're sitting off the English players on that occasion. You know, when Robertson puts Walker under pressure, he wins the ball back in a decent area as well, and it allows Scotland then to get a feel of the ball, and I think that's what they need.
0-0 here, 0-0 in Oslo. It is Tierney on the turn on the far side, level with the edge of the centre circle in England territory, and he elects to put it back into his own half. I'm not sure Angus Gunn was the intended target of the pass, but it's back towards the keeper. He comes out of his box, plays it short to Porteous, long ball cut out by Gay, and it breaks back the way to Dunk, midway inside his own half. He's been with Brighton all the way through from the lower leagues. There's a long ball towards Rashford, I think would have been offside, but Gunn comes a long way from home and he controls and clears, and away it goes, but the flag does go up, and it is a free kick to Scotland, and Scotland 0, England 0 at Hampden.
It's good play again though from Angus Gunn. He has to play what he sees. We know the modern game, the referee allows the phase of play to go on. No guarantee that flag will go up, but he's aggressive. Well, he isn't. He started the game, as you mentioned, good bit of confidence, and with that higher back line from Scotland, you need your goalkeeper to be brave.
Don't know with the pass forward looking for Adams, but it goes right through to Ramsdale.
I think taking the responsibility, it's great when you see a goalkeeper prepared to do that, and you know what, there's no hesitation. You know, it's not as if he's taking a step and then he's thinking about it and then he's going for it. He's making his mind up early, whether it be the crosses or whether it's you know, coming out and taking the forward passes. So yeah, I mean, good signs for the future, that's for sure.
Oh, it's been misjudged by Hendry. Kane could be in here, but Porteous comes across and shuts the door in Harry Kane's face, and he bails out Jack Hendry, who completely misjudged that one. There's a chance for the Scots on the break, down the left-hand side. Jay Adams, left-hand side of the box. McTominay in the middle. Adams trying to push it towards a teammate. It's cut out, it goes behind. The flag's gone up in any case on this near side. That looked like a really good opportunity for Adams, but I'm assuming it was he who was in the offside position. It stays Scotland 0, England 0.
Yeah, I think he just strayed marginally offside. Good turnover from Scotland, though. Great recovery from Ryan Porteous, because as you mentioned, Liam, Harry Kane is really cute. He just goes in tight against Jack Hendry, lures him in, and it's just the slightest of nudges, but Scotland recover the ball. It's a good chance in the counter, and Scotland have got that pace, they've got that threat going forward as well, so they've got to have a belief that when they do regain possession, they can go and hurt England and get after them.
England pick up with Kyle Walker wide on the right hand side, shifts it infield to Phillips, he squares it to Gay, who's got Trippier on the near side. He elects to pass it forward to Rice, and it was almost cut out by McTominay. He was all over Declan Rice there. It's back now with Margay, who is winning just his 6th cap. Dunk just his 2nd That's the heart of the England defence tonight. No international inexperience there. England play it out well though, and the header from Rashford finds Foden, but he's passed it straight to Gilmour, and it's turned out to this near side for Hickey, who stretches his legs, going back towards his own goal though, away from Bellingham, and he's managed to pass it back to Porteous. Now it's Billy Gilmour. We all remember how good Gilmour was at Wembley in that Euro 2020 match-up. The 0-0 draws. Scotland pick up on the left with Robertson firing it to the edge of the D. It's cut out by Gay. Down goes Callum McGregor. No free kick. The referee though does eventually give free kick. Didn't look like he was, but he has done. And it's Scotland 0, England 0. But the Scots have a free kick in a decent enough area here.
That's a good area. Callum McGregor still down in the grass. Right enough, he was brave. I wasn't sure that the free kick was going to be given either, Liam. I thought both players just kind of came together in a 50-50, Willie. Yeah. I don't know what you thought.
I don't think he gave it for that. I think he kind of intimated it was for a handball after this incident. Okay. You maybe see it now in the replay.
Oh, yes.
It's for a handball.
Right. Spot on, Willie. Yeah, brave though from McGregor. Good area. And it's just that press, so it's that front foot defending we're seeing from Scotland as well. They are aggressive, perhaps more aggressive than we've seen them in recent years. Just there's no thought to drop off the game and regroup and reshape. They lose the ball, and certainly in England's half, and they're looking to go and win it back as quickly as they can.
0-0 here, 0-0 between Norway and Georgia, and incidentally in Grenada between Spain and Cyprus. The two games going on in Scotland's group tonight, 0-0 in this friendly. And Scotland having their best little spell of the game, almost on 15 minutes. Free kick just slightly left to centre, midway inside the England half. Andy Robertson and Billy Gilmour stand over this free kick. Big line of players along the 18. And it will be Robertson, flights in with the left foot. Porteous almost got goal side, up into the air it goes. England trying to get it away, and eventually it drops favourably for Kyle Walker, who can leather it forward with the right foot into the Scotland half, where Robertson will pick it up. He's under big pressure though. He's got just enough on it to get it back to Gunn, with Kane right in behind him. A little bit fortunate he managed to get enough on there, because England's record scorer was chasing it down. Gunn read it as well.
Yeah, but again, you know, Angus Gunn out. He's playing just behind his defence here. He's taking responsibility again. He's in the right place to make sure that, and that was a slip. You know, if Gunn is maybe half a dozen yards further back, then he isn't getting to that ball. So it's good goalkeeping again.
Italy leading Ukraine 1-0. That's England's group. As Robertson picks up out to the left. Tierney, brilliantly done by Tierney, back to Robertson. Lays it out wide left for McGinn, who's barely been in the game so far. Level with the England 18. John McGinn, little clip ball that he's misunderstanding between he and Robertson momentarily, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Scotland 0, England 0.
Yeah, it's good play. You could see what John McGinn was looking to try and do. I think he missed the opportunity initially. Andy Robertson kind of regrouped, went to go again. It's just the execution of the pass, but I like the position of Tierney higher up. I like McGinn being out there supporting. I like the underlap of Robertson in terms of that support. It allows Shea Adams to stay in the box. It allows McTominay to go and join the attack as well. Just that lack of quality.
It's McTominay in the midfield, in the centre circle. Throws it with the right foot out to Robertson. First time forward to McGinn. Flicks it back towards Robertson. Cut out by Walker. And cleared the edge of his own box by Dunk. Scotland pick up the scraps. McTominay, good challenge by Rice, wins it back for England. Now it's Bellingham forward to Rashford. Rashford looking to slip it forward to Kane. Too much on the pass, and that comes right through to Kieran Tierney.
I thought Bellingham might have been taken out there, but referee actually has been refereeing it pretty good. It was off the ball. No, was it
John McGinn? I think he's been a little bit cute, Billy.
Yeah, just laying a bit on him.
Ryan Porteous down on this near side in his own half. Little feel of the ball, moves infield, decides to turn it back to his goalkeeper. It's with Gunn. He too takes a touch, then launches it forward with the right foot, looking for Hickey. Does win the header. Straight to Gay though, and up into the air. And will drop down onto the head of Porteous in the contest. Bellingham, as it's hoisted forward by Phillips, now left hand side of the box. It's Rashford on the right foot. He's in the Scotland box, turns it back to Foden, who puts it over. Real chance for Manchester City's Phil Foden there, round about the penalty spot, and he side foots it high over the crossbar, and it stays Scotland 0, England 0. What a chance that was.
Yeah, Scotland caught defensively. Aaron Hickey actually thought it was a bit slow in terms of his recovery out of possession. He's pointing at Ryan Porteous as if he's to drop in and cover. Neither of them take up that responsibility. in terms of the full-back area. It allows Rashford to get in again. It's just the quality and the finish from Foden.
One of them have to take the responsibility, though, don't they? For me, I think it's Hickey. I think Hickey's got to get himself into a better position.
Yeah,
there.
He's lazy there, Willie.
Yeah.
He's slow. He's looking for somebody else to do the job for him, but you can't go and do that job going forward and not expect to do your defensive duty.
It's been a goal in Scotland's group tonight, and it's come for Spain, who lead Cyprus 1-0. Barcelona's Gavi has given them the lead as they look to close the gap on Scotland at the top of Group A. Still 0-0 in Oslo as it is here, as Porteous picks up and then he moves it with the right foot for Tierney, who takes the safe option under pressure from Foden. Goes back to Gunn, a couple of touches from the big man, and he clears. Picked up by Trippier, his pass forwards cut out by McTominay, and that'll go out for an England throw-in down on this near side. 19 in, goalless.
Just a couple of moments you would like to see Scotland. I know they're looking to try and play, but they're a bit careless. A few horizontal passes that England have almost latched onto. I like the idea of playing it in certain areas, but I don't think we need to take unnecessary risks as well, especially when you've got the pace middle to front that England have got.
England in possession here with Dunk, and they can't qualify this international window after the draw with Ukraine on Saturday evening. Indeed, Scotland are the only country who can, as that long ball from Kane finds Rashford, left-hand side of the box. Didn't quite get it into his stride, but he's on it here. Looking to get some space, a little back heel for Bellingham. The challenge from Porteous. Flag's gone up anyway. Porteous has brought his opponent down there. It was Jude Bellingham. He was inside the box after Marcus Rashford found him with the back heel. It's gone behind, but it's an offside decision in any case, which bails out Ryan Porteous when it comes to any England penalty appeal.
Yeah, it's Rashford that's away again too early. It looked as though he was offside, but he is very quick down that left-hand side. But it's that same gap. He's playing. He's not playing out wide. He's playing in, and you've got Porteous. You've got Hickey, and none of the two of them are picking him up. It's a penalty if it is a penalty if he's not offside, but he was offside.
Porteous with the long ball, picked up by Trippier.
You've got to make sure in that circumstance, when you put a challenge in the penalty box, that you're going to win the ball. A little bit rash there, I think, from Porteous.
Yeah, and we saw how brilliant his late tackle in Larnaca was to prevent Cyprus pulling a goal back. Game had gone by that point, but notice they still clipped up that Porteous challenge. He said he preferred that to his goal. As it comes out to Kyle Walker, and he rolls it back to Dunk, who will find Gay. He has it under no pressure, looks long with the right foot, trying to get Foden in behind the Scotland defence. He's found Foden as well. His little touch takes it away from the penalty area, though. Tierney and Robertson have got behind him, and Rice picks up. He's going to get it back here. Declan Rice moving it infield to Bellingham. It's the Real Madrid midfielder, forward to Foden. I don't think Foden was the target when he got onto it. Bellingham back on it now, though. I think he was trying to slip that out to Walker, right at the Scotland box. As Phillips picks up inside the centre circle. Now Kane, England's skipper, back towards the halfway line. He's got no problem, Harry Kane, coming deep. He quite likes that. He can actually dictate the play quite well from coming back into a midfield position as Callum McGregor wins it back off Foden on the far side. Now it's with McGinn to Gilmore, and out wide left for Robertson as we approach the end of the first quarter of this friendly in inverted commas.
It's been a decent intensity though, Liam. Really has. 22 minutes. England looking to get after Scotland, moving the ball well. Scotland working really hard out of possession, looking to close England down. We see the press is on just now. Shea Adams getting after Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, it's cleared eventually by Dunk, and then they've done well actually. Walker finds Rice, back to Kyle Walker, who slips it back into his own box for Ramsdale.
It's a really high level of play though that we're watching from England, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the confidence and control that they've got, the slick movement. I would worry about Bellingham just sitting in that kind of off our back three, off Jack Hendry. He hasn't really made the most, or England haven't made the most of that position. He's got an awful lot of freedom in there for me.
England possession with Trippier infield to Rashford, who goes back into his own half for Gay. Big switch of play out towards Kyle Walker, who controls with the right foot. We're looking for options, and White ahead of him plays it short to Rice, then back to Walker. It remains goalless here as it does in Oslo. As things stand, Scotland are qualifying for the European Championship tonight. Long way to go, but both matches have gone beyond the quarter mark. As Gay finds Dunk to his right, just to the right of the centre circle, and he rolls it out to Walker and back in field to Rice. Rice to Walker, to Dunk, and now Gay again. Patient from England here. They've seen most of the ball in this game so far. The vast majority of it, in fact. Dunk finds Rice out to the right-hand side for Walker. He's got movement ahead of him. Bellingham made this run into the box, but he's left frustrated because the cross never came. It's Harry Kane taking over wide on the right-hand side and rolling it back to Rice. Into the centre circle, it goes to Phillips, and then out to Trippier. England trying to move Scotland around here. Here's Rashford, he's managed to slip it through to Bellingham. Two waiting in the middle, one's Foden. Kane, the cross is overhit though. Still alive, Walker can control, and he volleys for goal. And he puts it across the bows of Angus Gunn and behind the reverse side for a goal kick to Scotland. 24 in, Scotland 0, England 0. But that looked very, very promising down this left-hand side.
Yeah, it was really good play from England. It's that movement from in to out as well. It's caused Ryan Porteous a couple of problems, whether it's been Marcus Rashford this time, it's Bellingham, and he's well onside, just playing in between outside centre-back and wing-back for Scotland. It's just that unmarked territory, but the quality, as Willie mentioned, that England have shown in possession is so good. Their ability to move it, and it's just the finest of margins. At times you feel like you're safe. Scotland have got good numbers behind the ball. England find a way.
There's a chance in the counter for Scotland. McGinn rolling it out to the left-hand side. Robertson tried the early cross, cut out by Walker, and out for a Scotland throw about level with the edge of the D of the England box.
And it wasn't far away, that Walker strike, was it? I mean, it's just grazed the far post. You know, he's had plenty of time. I was thinking, why is he playing it? Why is Bellingham playing it to, you know, the back post? And, you know, there's Walker just picking it up and just slashing it by the far post.
It's been a breakthrough in Oslo, and Norway have taken the lead through Mr. Goals himself, Erling Haaland. Norway 1, Georgia 0 in Oslo. And if there's a winner in that one, Scotland will have to wait for qualification. It will not happen tonight if there is a winner in that one, no matter who comes out with the 3 points. And it's Norway 1, Georgia 0. Goalless here at Hampden. 1-0 Spain against Cyprus and Grenada.
Well, we haven't threatened so far tonight, have we? You know, I think obviously this is what Steve Clarke is looking for, how you can compete against, you know, the quality that England have. The good news is it's still 0-0. They've had and here's another one.
Another long ball through, and it's going to come right through to Gunn. Bellingham giving chase, and Gunn gets rid of it. He certainly looks like a cool customer, Angus Gunn. Very confident, quite clearly, as Hickey is chopped to the ground by Bellingham on this near side. And that'll be a free kick to Scotland just before the midway point of their own half, wide on the right. 26.5 in here, 0-0.
That's intelligent play from Aaron Hickey. Just gets back to play, draws a free kick. Scotland on the attack. Yeah, Robertson, Tierney going on the overlap. Robertson rolling it to Tierney, but he can't find them. Straight to Walker. It's not coming easy for the Scots so far as Phillips picks up now. It's Rashford to Bellingham, right of the centre circle, out wide right. It comes to Walker. Kane's made his run into the middle. Kane wants it. Walker plays it across, and Henry cuts it out and puts it behind for the corner. Stays 0-0, but they're so incisive, this English side.
That's magnificent. You don't see football like that too many occasions in Scotland. That was a fantastic play, right for the kind of their final third, right up until the cross comes in. And if Walker manages to find Kane, is that Bellingham that's just outside of the boot to Walker? If he just manages to pick out Kane, it's a goal.
England corner, their fourth of the evening, and it comes towards the 6-yard line, headed away by Tierney. Only as far as Rice. Gets it under control eventually and turns it back to Trippier. Rolls it left to right of the circle. And then it's moved back by Walker to Trippier, the two full-backs. And now with Declan Rice on the near side. And back it comes to Trippier again, midway inside his own half. Short ball to Dunk. And now it's back with Trippier. Nowadays at Newcastle, Kieran Trippier, in that lengthy spell at Tottenham. He was at Atletico Madrid as well. Really fine career. He won the title in Spain. As Rice picks up side foots to the right of the centre circle for Foden, and out to Walker over on that far side. Back into the midfield. Foden to his own half. Dunk out wide right for Walker. Movement ahead of him. Steady squares it to Phillips. Much needed minutes in the legs tonight. There's Calvin Phillips. He's a mainstay at Leeds United, and he performed brilliantly at the European Championship a couple of years ago. It's not a great clearance by Dunk, but it's off the Scotland player and out for a throw into England over on the far side. 0-0 here at Hampden.
I suppose, well, it's when you look at this Scotland shape, which we know it really does work, and it has worked wonders for us. But England, the overload that they create centrally so much, Scotland actually end up with an extra body in the back line at times when actually you need an extra body in the middle of the pitch to stop them from playing, because they're so good. And the fact that Kane drops in centrally, he causes so many problems himself.
Now with Trippier for England on this near side. To Rice, back to Trippier on the touchline. To the left angle of the box for Gay, who switches it out to that right-hand side for Walker. Knocking about with so much confidence. This England team, currently ranked 4th by FIFA, 2nd in Europe, behind only France. And the last team to beat them at the quarter-final stage of last year's World Cup finals. Unbeaten since then. A very impressive win in Naples against Italy in their opening European Championship qualifier. Set the tone in that group. Still to play Italy, but could qualify next month. The Italians beating Ukraine right now. And more importantly for Scotland, Norway beating Georgia, Spain beating Cyprus. Dunk forward to Phillips. Scotland players all around them. Phillips back to Gay, fires it forward to Bellingham. Left of the centre circle, he's away from one, he's away from two. Gilmour fighting back. The free kick's actually going to go Scotland's way. And will be a Scotland free kick right of the centre circle inside their own half. We're bang on the half hour here in Glasgow, and it's 0-0.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to pick your moment to go and press them. They're so comfortable and confident in the ball. Their passing accuracy is right at the very high level as well. And you know, it's a case of trying to lure them into a tight situation and then getting bodies round them. And Scotland did in that occasion, win the ball back, and importantly keeping the ball.
It's Callum McGregor from McGinn. Sweeps to the left for Robertson. Tierney's away on the rampage again to his left. Robertson decides to check his run, rolls it back infield to McGregor instead. Tierney wanted it, he's going to get it now. From McGregor, Tierney crosses in to the back end of the box, so there was nobody in navy blue, and there was a load of them at the near post area inside the 6-yard box. He couldn't find any of them. Overhits the cross, and out it goes for an England throw in level with their 18 on this main stand side. 31 in, 0-0.
Yeah, Tierney just looks to get a lot of pace in whipping the ball, but he overcooks it. A little bit frustrated. I think he wanted the ball just a little bit earlier. Robertson didn't give him it, whether he's just taking his eye off the ball or not. It was a good opportunity for Scotland, some decent numbers and bodies inside the box.
Bellingham holding off Tierney and rolling it to Walker, who's across the halfway line. Rashford trying to stay onside ahead of him. Rolls it to Foden, right-hand side of the box. Kane and Rashford are in the middle. Foden slips it to the edge of the D for Bellingham, looking for space to knock it through towards Rashford, who does well. Puts it to Walker, takes a touch, and in it goes! England goal! Phil got the final touch. 6 yards out. He's managed to divert it on target past Angus Gunn, and England take the lead at Hampden. Scotland 0, England 1 on 32 just about.
Yeah, it's tight. I actually just wondered if Marcus Rashford had strayed offside a little bit early, but it just shows you can have as many numbers in and around the box. If you don't affect the ball, if you don't stop England from passing it and moving it, they're so intricate, so skillful in the way they play. Numbers forward, Willie.
Yeah, I don't think it's offside. It's Foden that gets. I think Rashford runs into an offside position.
He's onside there.
That occasion, and then it's just a deflection. I don't think Foden knows too much about it, does he? You know, is it a deflection, or does he manage to open up his foot as Walker drills it across the face?
I think it's a bit of both. No,
yeah.
I think he knows. He knows about it, Willie. We've just seen it again in the screen.
He just opens up the foot, doesn't he? Yeah, it does.
It's a great finish. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's class. That is absolute class from Phil Foden. And actually, Rashford's done brilliantly as well to keep that going, because he didn't look favourite when that came through to him in the box. He was able to push it back to Walker, and Foden, from Walker's shot, turns it home. Goal given, incidentally. There is VAR, despite this just being a friendly. There is the video assistant this evening, but Goal stands and England lead on Glasgow's south side. And Spain have gone 2-0 up against Cyprus in Scotland's qualifying group this evening. And Norway have scored again, 2-0 up against Georgia. So I think even at this stage in proceedings, just beyond the half hour here and in Oslo, you can forget Scotland qualifying for Euro 2024 this evening. It's going to move on to next month. And just to put you in the picture with regards to next month, Scotland need 2 more points, so they would have to beat Spain to qualify that night. But the match after that, Norway play Cyprus, you'd expect them to win that one. But Norway will have to beat Spain when Scotland are playing France in that friendly next month. So it's all gone a little bit flat as Norway double their lead and Scotland fall behind here to the old enemy. And Phil Foden scoring just his 4th international goal. England fans have been desperate for him to be in the team as Rashford overcooks it, but Phillips picks up the scraps from McGregor's clearance. Here's Bellingham, wide left of the Scotland box, taking on Hickey, on the right then on the left, back onto the right, little back heel for Foden. Foden drives it across towards Kane, it did come to him. Robertson gives it away and Bellingham's reach home. England double the lead in the space of a couple of minutes. It's a shocker from Robertson. Scotland's captain put it on a plate for one of the players of the season so far in Spain. Real Madrid's Jude Bellingham strokes it home. And it's Scotland 0, England 2 here. 10 from the break as Robertson looks to the heavens.
He does. He knows himself that he's made an error. He's experienced enough to realise that too. He's got his head down. He's actually got the ball under control. And I don't know what is going through his mind in terms of the pass that he's made to Bellingham. I mean, it's a very good cross into the box from Foden. Some great work down the left-hand side. And it's drilled across the face. I thought we had survived it. And it's fallen to Andy. He's just froze, isn't he? And he's thrown his boot out at it. And he's just set it up so easily for the strike at goal.
I've got no idea, Willie, what he's thinking.
Don't know.
He's completely caught in 2 minds. I don't know whether he goes to flick it with the outside of the left boot, or he's thinking whether to take a touch to clear it with the right. Whatever he's thinking, he gets it completely wrong. And you will not score an easier goal in your life. I mean, the deliveries you mentioned was outstanding, really put Scotland in the back foot. They've got to defend it better. But Andy Robertson, it's one that you won't want to see back, Liam.
It's Jude Bellingham's 2nd international goal. He's going to score a heck of a lot more. You cannot give one of the best players on the planet that kind of opportunity as Scotland come forward. Tierney in the box, turns it across to Adams, couldn't take it out from under his feet, and England clear. That was an opportunity for Scotland, make no mistake about that. They are 2-0 down here, and frankly, Willie Miller, they've been handed a lesson.
Well, they have been, in terms of football. It's actually been a joy to watch England. I think they've been magnificent. That is our first opportunity there, and it was Tierney driving down. And all our chances, all our drive is coming from the left-hand side. There hasn't been too much of it right now.
Checking a handball in the box, by the way.
It's gay. I think it's just as he's trying to get back to his feet.
Yep, game on, no penalty.
Yeah. It looked as if both hands were in the grass. It's just as he's looking to try and get back up. I think it potentially flicks off the arm, but I'm sure the referees will view that as the arm that's supporting the body. Scotland would have loved the opportunity to get one back, certainly at this stage of the game. As Willie mentioned, England have been so good. They're absolutely bang at it, moving the ball with real quality. We definitely don't see a game of this calibre too often at Hampden Park, and that's no disrespect to the teams that I've watched here, Liam, but they really are on a different level when they want to play it.
Porteous with a long throw into the England box is headed clear as Kane puts it forward, and here's another chance on the counter for England. Driving forwards Bellingham, he's got Rashford to his right, Foden's bursting a gut to get there. Rashford puts it in, or Bellingham puts it in behind Rashford, and he's left frustrated as Porteous digs it out for Scotland. That looked as though they were in for a third there, and if Bellingham had his eye in with the pass, they may well have been in for the third.
Right, 2 targets, they couldn't pick out one of them. What's going on? That's probably been the worst pass of the evening from England, and maybe he just had too long to think about it. He was kind of slowing up, and maybe if he'd have done it a little bit sharper, then undoubtedly it would have been the third goal.
Yeah, potentially.
Marino got that second Spain goal, and it was Odegaard who got Norway's second. in Scotland's group tonight. So Norway and Spain both leading 2-0. Scotland trailing 2-0 to England here as McGregor rolls it out to Robertson on the touchline. 7 from half-time. It's with Tierney, gets it forward towards Adams, cut out by Rice. McGregor's cushion header towards the edge of the box, and for McGinn, bounces back into the midfield, and the loose ball's picked up by Scotland. It's Tierney out to Robertson, slips it square to McGregor, who finds Gilmore, and now it's McGregor. None of these brilliant midfielders Scotland have been able to get into the game, as Tierney picks up on the left from Robertson, hits the byline, left foot cross comes in, Adams misjudges his jump, and it comes back through to Aaron Ramsdale, who will hold on, the England keeper, and it will stay Scotland 0, England 2. It's turned into a bit of a damp squib.
It has, Liam, and you're just looking at the game. I mean, we spoke before the match about the performance on Friday night and how good Scotland were, and when you look at even the personnel tonight and the type of game that it's becoming, for me it's more a Lyndon Dykes type night, that when you win the ball back from Scotland, yes, you can play and you can move it, but you do need more of a physical presence to get yourself up the pitch. And by the way, England have got that in Harry Kane. He's a physical presence. He can play with his back to goal and look to get you out, some flick-ons and whatnot. Nothing really sticking that goes forward for Scotland just now.
3-0 to Spain. Morata has got the goal. So Gabi, Morata, and one from Merino in the middle. 3-0 against Cyprus. Norway 2, Georgia 0 in Oslo. And what was the big game for Scotland this evening, albeit this is quite the spectacle here at Hampden.
He's pretty good at camouflaging the fouls as well. Harry Kane, is he not? You know, Jack Henry, with 2-3 occasions, and the referee hasn't given a free kick. It is a free kick, but because Jack Henry's not dealing with it properly, and Kane is so cute at doing it, then it's not been given.
Scotland have it with Gilmore, rolls it out to the left for Tierney, goes back to Robertson. Will be so annoyed with himself for that second England goal. And coming so soon after the first, really has knocked the stuffing out of the Scotland players. And it's the England fans who are singing and rejoicing right now as McGinn picks up left of the centre circle, looking for an option ahead. Can John McGinn get into the game? Here's McGregor, and here's Gilmore. Two players who love to dictate football matches. Here's Hickey, and back to Gilmore. Now back to McGregor, and then turns it to his left. Robertson forward to Adams. Adams gets away from Bellingham. Good footwork from Che Adams, who then is brought crashing to the ground by Phillips, who will be yellow carded for that one. The Manchester City midfielder. And Scotland have a free kick midway inside the England half, and then Jack Hendry, I think it's Jude Bellingham, come together. Well, he knew it wasn't a friendly. He knew, even though it was dubbed that it wasn't a friendly, and clearly in the wake of this challenge by Calvin Phillips and Che Adams, tempers were frayed there, and Jack Hendry went in chest to chest with, I think it was Bellingham. I'm not sure if there was another yellow dished out there, but it's going to be a free kick to Scotland when all is said and done. Phillips still arguing with the referee. And it's going to be a yellow card for him and a Scotland free kick midway inside England territory.
You know what? Okay, you can accept that it's a yellow card, but I think it's an honest attempt to get the ball, is it not?
I think he plays the ball well. It's just the follow through. It's the left trailing leg that comes through and just leaves a bit on Che Adams. I think that's why it's been given. But no, you're right. Phillips has just looked to try and get through it wholeheartedly. Adams, the way he spins and rotates, he gets caught. It's a free kick. I don't know why there's so much animation for both teams, if I'm being honest. It's not like it's a challenge that we don't see pretty often in the game. Just an opportunity to get involved, I think.
2-0 to England. Scotland need the next goal. Gilmore leaves the free kick for Robertson, who bends it in. Hendry goes to attack it, but it's flicked away brilliantly. England managed to get a body in the road on the 6-yard line. I think it's Lewis Dunk who got his head onto it, and out it goes for a corner to Scotland on this near side, the main stand side. So they attack the goal to the right, the east end of the stadium. Well defended by Dunk, it really was.
Yeah, it was. He knew exactly what he had to do. Just get the little touch on it, get it out the danger area.
John McGinn will take Scotland's first corner, left-footed from McGinn into the box it comes. It's just knocked away on the 6-yard line, and the clearance completed by Kieran Trippier. And out for a Scotland throw-in over on the far side as we edge towards half-time. 1:43 on the clock. Scotland 0, England 2. Long ball by Gilmour to the edge of the penalty area. Gay heads it away. Only as far as Hickey. Right hand side of the box, bends it in. Comes off Phillips, the referee blows for an England free kick. Jack Hendry incidentally was booked in the midst of that fracas earlier on with Phillips and Bellingham. And it's an England free kick inside the box.
You know, it's maybe the type of game that we need to play. You know, I think we've been pretty passive. Although we've played the high line, I don't think we've got close enough to England, although their passing has been superb. But, you know, maybe we need to get it stirred up a little bit and just kind of a play with the heart a bit more to try to get ourselves back into it. Keep it simple, get it forward, get up behind it and hopefully pick up crumbs, because we've been outplayed as far as football is concerned.
Long ball forward as we move in towards the final minute of the first half. England have it. Rashford on the near side. No free kick for Scotland. Rashford infield to Bellingham. And it's not clear by McTominay. And now it's with Phillips to Trippier. And then to Rice. Italy 2-1 up on Ukraine in England's group. They did go 2-0 up through Milan's Fratesi. Scored twice. Yarmolenko pulled one back for Ukraine on 42. And in Scotland's group, Norway 2, Georgia 0, Spain. Well, it's gone back to 2-0, so I can only imagine the Morata goal's been ruled out. That offside was given, VAR ruling out the third Spain goal, so it stays at 2-0 to the Spanish against Cyprus. As it is for England here at Hampden. And Scotland fans have been hushed for large spells of this first half. It's been an excellent England performance, been full of everything the England supporters have been annoyed that it hasn't been recently. Comes back to Ramsdale, and the goalkeeper at the edge of his 6-yard box under pressure from Adams, knocks it out wide right. They've made it work brilliantly, England, playing it out from the back. Rashford, 1 minute added, we're going into that now. Here's Kane, left of the centre circle for England, looks up right-footed, raking switch of play out to Kyle Walker, who was down onto his knees to control it under no pressure. And this is an unforgiving fixture that Scotland have, this one, and then Spain and France to come next month. They still qualify for the Euros without winning any of those matches. Of course, 2 of them are friendlies anyway, but it really is a massive test. And Steve Clarke did say in the build-up to this one he'd have a good idea as to where his team was after tonight. Well, we've been played off the pitch. 2-0 down, and here come England, look for a third before the break. It slipped through towards Bellingham, holding off Hickey to the edge of the box, rolls it to Foden, takes a touch right-footed across the face of goal, couldn't quite find Kane, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near side. There won't be a single England supporter moaning about this performance tonight, that's for sure. They've been bang up for it, and as the half-time whistle goes here in Glasgow, it is England who have a 2-0 lead against Scotland, who've been second best all over the pitch tonight. It's been a classy performance by Gareth Southgate's team. 6 changes he made from their draw against Ukraine in Wrocław on Saturday evening, and they've looked every way European Championship and World Cup title challengers tonight, zipping the ball about. Jude Bellingham, who's been magnificent for Real Madrid in the infancy of his career at the Bernabeu, has been at the heart of just about everything they've done this evening. 2 goals in 3 minutes. The first from Foden, good work by Rashford in the box, kept it alive, found Walker, he lashed it for goal. Foden turned home from 6 yards out, and as Walker teed up Foden for that first goal, Andy Robertson teed up Jude Bellingham for England's second. A horrific mistake by the normally reliable Robertson as he put it on a plate for Bellingham, one of the best players in world football right now. You cannot give presence like that to players like that, and it's cost Scotland big time. And England had other opportunities as well which they didn't take, so perhaps they'll feel they should be further ahead. Half-time at Hampden Park, with the dreams of qualifying for the Euros tonight all but extinguished as well, given the goings-on in Oslo. It is Scotland 0, England 2.
Scotland versus England.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland. This is Sports Sound.
Shock revelation to win the league, Rangers.
That's not what you said to me off air. That's not what you said to me off early.
He's just slaughtered them.
Dad got the other Thistle fan and said it'd be character building, and it certainly is.
Hey, feed the bear and he will score!
Well, no, thanks, Kenny. It hasn't been the best week, to be honest with you. Topped up with listening to Stephen Thompson for 90 minutes was pretty tough going, but
you know, I actually got worse than the hairdryer.
Is that like what happened?
I get silence. That's how bad that was.
Check, you've had a few Love Islands, have you not?
Some of them on the mainland as well. Meanwhile, back in the football, it's brilliant entertainment.
it certainly was a great win. I'm not sure what game Trick was watching right enough. The United dominated the game from start to finish.
I am sick and tired to listen to the tripe that comes out for you all.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
This is Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Richard Gordon, live from Hampden Park, the National Stadium, where Scotland are being given a lesson by our neighbours from south of the border. England 2-0 up, completely and utterly in control of this match. And as Liam has been keeping you up to date in the qualifying campaign, Norway 2, Georgia 0. It looks very much as if Scotland are going to have to wait to have qualification for Euro 2024 confirmed. And it's Spain 2, Cyprus 0. Gavi and Marino for Spain. Aland and Odegaard for Norway, who are very much in command. England's group, Italy are 2-1 up against Ukraine. And the Romania-Kosovo game has been, well, certainly postponed or suspended in the meantime. I think it was about 18 minutes in. There were political banners being unfurled within the stadium, which led to crowd trouble. So they're having a bit of a major issue trying to get that game restarted. Anyway, Scotland, no shots on goal, certainly no real trouble for the England defence so far. Craig Levein, they have absolutely cruised this, England, haven't they?
They certainly have, Richard. I mean, it has been a lesson. You were right with that. I mean, Scotland just haven't been in it at all. The two players that we spoke about before the game, about McTominay and McGinn, have hardly touched the ball. So that's a worry for us. Adams has touched the ball maybe 3 or 4 times. Half of those he's given the ball away. So we haven't had anything to shout about in the England defensive area. Nothing at all. We're also playing quite a dangerous game with a very high line against no pressure on the ball and top-class strikers. Top-class strikers. I mean, that front three are incredible, aren't they? You know, and I was watching Kane. He's playing in between centre backs, right? And so he's occupying 2 players. And he keeps popping in between them. Instead of talking to each other and saying, you just go with him and pick him up and I'll cover the space, he's playing in between. And he's causing them all sorts of bother. The other thing he's doing is when the ball's played up, either Henry or Porteous, he just leans into them and they're not smart enough or wise enough to deal with it. I mean, he's a strong guy, but the ball comes up and instead of being able to, you know, if somebody gets it and then does the same thing 4 or 5 times in a row, you have to try and find a solution. You know, and maybe even you come round in front of him and try and win the ball there. But, I mean, he's toying with the back line. You realise that Bellingham, wow, what a player.
Yeah, I've got to say that a few things struck me from some of the England players. It's always interesting when you see these guys in the flesh rather than seeing them in the tele. I always remember that game, the 2-2 draw 6 years ago, seeing Kane, and I was infuriated by the diving that he did. He did it constantly. Doesn't do that anymore. There's none of that. No. But what he does do, he's matured as a player. He's got more clever, and I mean, he's just about taking the Scotland back 5 on his own at times.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he has been brilliant, really has. I mean, a lot of the time you don't even need to touch the ball to affect the game, and that's, you know, he's tying people up, and it's causing all sorts of problems for Scotland. I mean, there's part of me sitting here thinking, well, if we want to get to a level, this is the level we want to get to, you know? Yeah. You know, at the level England are playing at, because this has been men against boys, it really has, and we're lucky it's only 2.
Yeah. Bellingham, there's a bit of a nasty side to him as well. There's been a few, you noticed, Craig, a few times off the ball, he's kind of given it out to a couple of the Scotland players. He's clearly a supremely self-confident individual, just watching how he operates in the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you don't, you don't play at the clubs that he's played at without being top quality, do you? And I mean, I watched the goal. I thought Foden was lucky at first when the ball got flashed across the face of the goal for the first goal. But I mean, he's actually, I mean, the ball was only maybe 10 yards away. It's absolutely levered at him, and he's managed to adjust his feet to redirect the ball into the net. It's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think everyone just assumed that the ball had, because it was almost looked as if he'd fallen over it, as it just struck him. We're in the net, but you're right. He has adjusted. He's shown incredible awareness and ability to be able to do that. Bellingham, of course, with a second.
Well, so this just sums up where Scotland are mentally, right? Andy Robertson panics. The ball's spun round onto his left side, and he sees the white jersey and panics. Now, when do you ever see Andy do that? So they've had a period here under pressure defensively where it's getting to them, you know, because that situation there, if it just took a breath, he could still make a pass or clear the ball. But he was just confused, and that's a direct result of being confused, that he's just panicked at the last second.
He wasn't having a great night before then, was he? He'd given the ball away on a number of occasions.
Yeah,
he made bad choices.
You could level that at most of the team.
I just wondered if what happened to him was perhaps as a result of how he'd been playing and the confidence level had dropped.
Well, I think the fact that the pressure they've been under, and the pressure doesn't just come from the opposition putting you under pressure. It comes from you giving the ball away or making a poor choice. That puts you into a deeper situation that you can't really think clearly, and that's happening quite regularly, or did happen quite regularly in that first half. We just didn't make the right choices.
I think by about 20 minutes in, Craig, I realised that I was going to revert to my earlier stance of not caring about this game.
I think that was the right one.
It could be. I mean, it could get very messy actually if England continue to play at this level.
Yeah, I mean, there are times really when you come up against teams that basically are better than you, and England look better than us at this minute in time. Now we're on a journey of sorts, you know, and it will be quite chasing in. I hope we don't get, you know, a 4 or a 5 or something like that, and maybe we can nick a goal and still manage to take something away from this game.
Well, I was actually thinking back to it, so it would have been the centenary of the Scottish FA. Willie might remember this. In 1972, it was I think it was Valentine's Day in February 72. I remember this mainly because I was at Tertilly Outdoor Residential School with a grammar, and listening to this on my wee white transistor radio. Scotland got absolutely destroyed. It was a horrible frozen pitch. I think the players, some of them were wearing like trainers rather than football boots, and England scudded Scotland by 5 goals to 0. Well, you're nodding away. Bobby Clark was in goal that night,
Yeah, Bobby was in goal that night. It was a decent Scotland team as well, but the pitch was
horrendous.
The pitch was just, it shouldn't have been played actually, Richard.
It was only played because of the occasion, wasn't it?
The occasion, yeah, and we had to play it. But yeah, I mean, you know, tonight has been wonderful. See if you enjoy watching a good football team.
Yeah.
You've been entertained royally tonight, because that is as high a level as I've seen for a number of years. The way England have played, the way they've moved it about, the confidence they've got, the understanding they have, the threat that they've had. It is 2-0. If it had been 4 or 5, I don't think we could have complained. But it's just a joy to watch, right from the back, everything, right from the goalkeeper, right up to Harry Kane. And I laugh at Harry Kane, and he just stumbles into centre half. Poor Jack Henry, does he not understand that he has to actually stay away from him, not get too close? 4 or 5 occasions he's used that old trick to get away, and the referee's blind to it. The referee does not understand what he's doing. I know what he's doing. I just wish Jack Henry would kind of take it on board. He's been brilliant, but all over they've been brilliant. I just have enjoyed watching football at that level. I haven't seen it for, well, certainly at Hampden, I haven't seen that quality for a lot of years. And I think even although everybody in the stadium will be disappointed with the scoreline, surely they'll be enjoying the football that's on offer tonight.
Well, if you and I are enjoying it,
Richard's reaction for the listeners, Richard Gordon just grunted basically and shook his head.
I'll be honest.
I'm not sure. I don't know if we're all enjoying it.
I am enjoying I am enjoying the football. The kind of look at my face was more about I'm not sure that the 50-odd thousand Scotland fans inside this, how many of them will be going, yeah, well, he's right. I'm loving watching Scotland get.
I think there'll be a lot listening and watching that will agree with me wholeheartedly, Richard.
Yeah,
they won't be as offended tonight because of the type of game that it is and the form that Scotland have shown.
Yeah.
And I would agree with everything that the guys have said in terms of the performance, but there's also a bit of me that, and I was saying that to Willie as we came out of the first half here, I don't mind the fact that Scotland have went at it with the approach that they have, because it's a game that they have to test themselves. They need to go and open up a bit more than they normally would. They need to go and chase things in certain areas that they 9 times out of 10 against a level of opposition like this Scotland wouldn't do. But if you're going to qualify for the Euros and you're going to get drawn against big teams, you won't get many opportunities between now and then to really go and test yourself. So there's that halfway house where you go and have a bite tonight and you get taught a lesson or two, and for 45 minutes that's exactly what England have done. They don't always turn it on like this, hence the frustration of England's support at times, hence the draw on Saturday evening against Ukraine. Personnel changes, but I think the team that Gareth Southgate has put out tonight, Richard, middle to front, the way they move the ball is on a completely different level, and the age that they've got within that team as well, and the experience, they're only going to get better. I mean, we're mentioning Jude Bellingham, 20 years old. I'm saying to Willie, he reminds me of a young Zidane, because he's so elegant, he's so strong, he's so powerful, he moves, he's decision making, he brings other players into the game, he's so intelligent the way that he moves and vacates areas to allow others to come into. And you saw that with the second goal, he toys with the opponent, he twists, he turns and he just waits, and it's just a back heel to Foden, with the quality and the deliveries which ties both Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson in knots, and they're unable to go and deal with it and clear the lines. Outstanding.
Well, Gareth Southgate may be feeling a little bit sorry for Scotland, maybe he wants to give us a chance, because he's putting Harry Maguire on the sea for the second half. He's down there warming up.
Right, he's watched Harry Maguire mark his own teammate the other night and thought, listen, Scotland are needing a wee bit of that. We'll see if they can get one back and make it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to some of the English commentators, listen to the radio and the podcast, and I keep hearing how Harry Maguire has never let England down. Well, let's be honest, on the evidence of the first 45 minutes, he's not about to face the most demanding half of his international career, Harry Maguire, is he?
No, and I mean, what does Steve do then, Willie? Right, so it makes some changes at this minute in time.
It depends what he's wanting to get out of the game. I think if he wants to try and turn it, listen, you can stick with the same formation. You could go to a back four.
Would it not be better giving
well.
Dykes? Would it be better giving Dykes some game time?
Yeah, but also get more in the midfield. You know, maybe go. I mean, what happens if you do go to a 4-3-3? How do they react to it? You might be able to tie their full-backs down a little bit. You might have more in the midfield to get a grip of the midfield. If you put Dykes up, it would certainly be an outlet. Yeah. You know, you've got 3 central defenders against Harry Kane, and the other 3 forwards that they've got are just moving in between the spaces. I don't know what he's going to do. You would hope that he would do something to try and turn it around. He might just stick with it and hope that you know, that they can perform better with the same shape.
Well, maybe that wee skirmish just before half-time, where there's a little bit of pushing and stuff, maybe there's something in there to be used at half-time about being more physical.
Try to make it more of a physical game, more of a quick game, rather than allowing England just to stroll through it the way they did in the first half.
Well, it'd certainly be nice to see Scotland being a bit more competitive. No changes for Scotland. It is Maguire for Gahey for England. Live second half commentary with Liam McLeod.
Yeah, same. Scotland 11 by the looks of things will be starting the second half. Has finished the first. So Angus Gunn in goal, Porteous, Hendry, Tierney, Hickey and Robertson wide, Gilmer, McGregor, McTominay and McGinn and Adams. England with that one change, Gay off, on comes Harry Maguire. Ramsdale in goal, Walker, Dunk, Maguire, Trippier, Phillips, who was booked, Rice, Bellingham, Foden and Rashford supporting Harry Kane. And the second half is underway. England kicking off with the white jerseys left to right, shooting towards the east end of the stadium, Scotland towards Mount Florida. As it bobbles down towards the corner flag, it bounces off it and behind for a Scotland goal kick as England try and attack in the opening seconds of the game. And it's going to be Angus Gunn for Scotland in possession here. 2-0 to England then. Scotland looking for a way back into this. It's going to be easier said than done. England putting in that superb performance in the opening 45 is a real lesson for these Scotland players, as Hickey's tripped by Trippier over there, and that will be a Scotland free kick just beyond the midway point of their own half. How do you come back into a game like this when you've been so well beaten and you're 2 goals behind, Leanne?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if there's a different approach in the second half, perhaps a more subdued approach from Scotland, and look to try and play more of a counter-attacking style with more players underneath the ball. But as I said there at half-time, I can understand why Scotland have taken the approach, and I think they need to be brave. And it is an opportunity in this second half that when you're chasing that goal, you can go and throw bodies forward. You know, what's the worst that happens? You lose this game. You know, of course we don't want a heavy defeat. Good players on the bench as well that you can freshen things up. I would expect around the 60-minute mark there'll be changes, Liam.
Tierney forward to McGinn, holds off Phillips. McGregor with a heavy touch though. That allows Calvin Phillips to pick it up, and he had an opportunity to slip it through to Bellingham. He's still unchallenged, and eventually it comes towards him. But Porteous is there to mop up and play it back to his goalkeeper. How long did Jude Bellingham have in that kind of space? And all it needed was a ball popped through to him, perfect weight, and he's in.
Yeah, it's that space again, you know, in between defenders. It's there to be exploited. You know, you've got to take some responsibility and pick up. I mean, they've got the 4 attackers basically, haven't they? But they're really difficult to pin down. And what position are they playing? I mean, even Harry Kane's going away into midfield, so it's not as if you can be friendly with any one of them, because their movement is just so hard to pin down that you can't get close to them. And if you leave the gaps, they're intelligent enough to exploit it.
Back with Ramsdale, the England goalkeeper, in for Jordan Pickford tonight amongst the subs. Long ball forward, that's Tierney's header, which is cut out by Phillips, and then Bellingham back to Phillips, and then out to Walker on this near side. Walker pressing it forward to his clubmate Foden. Now it's with Phillips, another of the Man City players. As Bellingham goes back to Dunk, and it's picked up by Maguire. Rolls it to the left-hand side for Trippier. Forward to Bellingham. Bellingham then to Rashford, who goes down. Scotland win the ball back legally though, and it's McTominay winning it off his clubmate. Short ball back to Gilmour under pressure from Kane. Forward to McTominay, back to Gilmour. He was back into his own half for Hendry. He moves it out to Tierney on this near side. Tierney's side football with the left, forward to McGinn. McGinn steps in field. The edge of the England box, he's gone for goal. It's blocked by Adams, and that'll go behind for the goal kick, will it? Looks like it. Goal kick to England, and it stays Scotland 0, England 2.
Yeah, it's adventurous from John McGinn, Willie. I'm not really too sure there was a route to goal with the amount of bodies in front of him. He's frustrated that Shea Adams has blocked the shot, but he had about 4 white England jerseys in front of him as well.
Yeah, I think it was the wrong decision, wasn't it? You know, maybe at this stage just try to hold on to it and allow players to get forward. I think McTominay could have done a little bit better in trying to burst himself forward to get a little bit closer to Shea Adams. But I didn't feel he had too many options, and of course when you've just started and you're a wee bit frustrated, then you can have a take it out and have the go for goal.
Throw in Scotland level the England 18 on this main stand side. Robertson will leave it to Tierney. Kieran Tierney on the long run up here. Big yawning area of grass behind the touchline. And Tierney now, of course, of Real Sociedad on loan from Arsenal, will take this long throw into the England 6-yard area. It comes, it's headed away, and appearance to the edge of the box drops to Gilmour, who lashes it wide, and he slaps his hands in frustration as that goes behind for a goal kick to England, who lead this game 2-0.
Yeah, not an easy one to take though, is it, for Billy Gilmour? I thought his touch was maybe a little bit heavy, but it wasn't. Just watching a replay on it, he's maybe just got to get the head over it a little bit and get it on target. It's a decent opportunity for him, and just try to curl it, but nowhere near it.
Can even test Aaron Ramsdale tonight, the England goalkeeper. It's a very comfortable evening as that's moved out to the left-hand side. It's now shifted towards Rashford, who's under pressure as he moves it back to Kane, and goes back to his goalkeeper. Ramsdale launches it forward with Adams in tow, and it's flipped by Porteous all the way back to the edge of the box for Angus Gunn. See Mr. Infantino's here tonight, the FIFA president. Interested spectator. He goes back the way to Gunn and clips it forward with the right foot up to halfway as the flag goes up against Scotland. That's going to be a free kick to England, though the Scots have a man down. I think it's Scott McTominay who's felt the brunt of that. He's ended up on the deck. And it's going to be an England free kick. McTominay tries to get himself back to his feet. He's scored 6 goals in his 5 appearances in Euro 2024 qualifying. Joint top scorer currently, as Phillips goes back to Maguire. And Scotland fans obviously feel there's a mistake in Harry Maguire, and he has been a much maligned figure. And it goes it to Dunk, back to Maguire. It's actually giving the Scotland fans their biggest cheers since this game kicked off, to be honest. As Dunk picks up midway inside his own half. Long ball for Kane, who's on his bike in behind Tierney. Tierney gets back goal side. It's Kane on the ball, holding off Kieran Tierney. Left-footed ball, almost managed to squeeze it out to Trippier, is headed away and picked up here by Rice. Rice back into his own half. He just goes quietly about his business, Declan Rice. And it's with Maguire to his goalkeeper. Ramsdale to Maguire again. Tartan Army giving Harry Maguire some stick here, but he's not really under any pressure when he's on the ball. He is now. Ramsdale finds him and he deals with it really well. Finds Rice, forward to Bellingham. Challenged well by Porteous. Scotland snapping into the challenges. Here's McGinn. Back to Gilmour. Gilmour working it to McTominay. Right-hand side of the penalty area almost. Back to McGregor. It's a cultured ball in. Headed away by Walker with a diving header. Picked up wide left by Tierney. Level with the England penalty spot, but he shows way too much of it to Foden, who pinches it back for the visitors. And it's Kane on the spin away from Billy Gilmour and back into his own box to Dunk. And we did say he likes to drop deep, does Harry Kane, and he did so there again. 2-0 England. No sign of Scotland being able to test Aaron Ramsdale as yet.
It's going to be a long second half, isn't it, for the Tartan Army, for the amount of times that Harry Maguire's getting on the ball. But you look at England out of possession as well, Willie. They're so good. The couple of times that they've just went and hunted Scotland, they just pick your pockets. They're so quick, they're so sharp, and their first instinct is to play forward when they win it.
Yeah, it's a joy to watch, isn't it? You know, it's been pretty passive though from England in the second half so far. Yeah, but you watch what they could. You watch what they did in the first half, and if they, and they're capable of repeating it. But they don't at any moment.
Yeah, they don't often really put together these 90-minute performances, and I think that's a problem for the supporters as well. They know how good they are, but they seldom do it for a whole match.
They just keep it for when they meet Scotland.
There's Foden, they're playing brilliantly here, out wide right for Walker at the byline. Chance potentially to cross into the Scotland box. Rolls it back to me. Kane takes a touch, crosses in with the right foot, flicked away on the 6-yard line as Foden picks up the scraps, gets it back immediately. It's Phil Foden to Maguire, left of the centre circle. Square ball to Dunk. Still out on 54 minutes. Maguire side puts it forward to Rashford, and back into Harry Maguire. It's a simple ball to his left for Rice in field to Rashford, who was back to Maguire, and now Dunk. And Lewis Dunk, just his second cap tonight, out to Kyle Walker on this near side. He earns his 78th cap. When Gareth Southgate was talking about Kyle Walker and that he had to convince him to not retire from international football in the build-up to this double header. They drew with Ukraine on Saturday, and they're putting Scotland to the sword here. And here goes Rashford down the left-hand side, bursting into life, out to the left-hand touchline. Trippier in field to Bellingham, back out to Rashford on that far side, level with the edge of the D of the Scotland box. Bellingham's pass goes behind for the throw-in over on the far side, and it's Scotland 0, England 2, 10 into the second half.
You're right, Liam, when you say it's that 90-minute performance, isn't it, from England, but there's no doubt that when they decide they want to go and they want to play forward, they can put the passes together and they do it efficiently, they do it really, really well. It's just how Scotland look to try and get back in the game is the biggest question. We're getting a wee glimpse at the Scotland bench. It looks like there's a bit of activity in terms of Ryan Christie and Lyndon Dykes, and just that freshness up top, I think, it is probably what Scotland need. The fact that England are moving it a bit slower and a bit more subdued this second half. The energy Ryan Christie gives you, and just that outlet, as I mentioned earlier on at Lyndon Dykes, is a good option to have as well.
Of course, England a penalty shootout away from winning the last Euros. They're bitterly disappointed to run into France last year's World Cup. It was a game they could have won. As Gilmour trips Phillips to the deck, England have a free kick, and as Leanne was saying, Dykes and Christie are going to be on for Scotland shortly.
Yeah, I think the hope is that, you know, England look as though they've just taken the foot off it a little bit. You know, quite happy just to keep the ball and let the clock run down. Obviously, you know, when they get the opportunity, if Scotland give them the opportunity, they'll go and try to, you know, break them down. And that's got to be offside surely, but as we know, the flag won't go up.
No, not yet. Here's Bellingham, left-hand side of the Scotland box, looking for space to cross. Foden and Kane waiting in the middle. He plays it back to Rashford. First time low ball out to Trippier on the left-hand side. Back to Rashford. Back to Trippier. Trippier forward down the line for Rashford. Is it nicked off him eventually, and out for a throw, and it goes. And England have a throw-in level with the Scotland 18 over on that far side. See Chris Woods down there, former England goalkeeper, of course. Scotland keeper coach Steve Clarke, as they prepare to make the subs. It goes out for a Scotland throw eventually over on that far side. 2-0 to England, and it's Scotland throwing, which Porteous is over on the far side, and Stevie Clarke will hope these changes have the desired effect and impact.
Yeah, I do think England have came off it a bit. You know, it's not the same free-flowing performance that we watched in the first half. So, you know, that gives you hope, that gives you maybe an opportunity. The changes are certainly positive changes, that's for sure. We'll just have to wait and see who comes off. But I think that, you know, if they maybe make it a little bit longer, if they've got that target man, it'll just, sorry, I just laugh when Harry Kane barges into a centre-back for the 6th or 7th time in the game and the referee gives nothing. Anyway, you just hope that Scotland can turn it around. I think the changes might help. I think a combination of maybe England taking the foot off it and Scotland making the positive changes might just turn it a little bit for them.
I seem to remember a certain Mr. McCoist winning a penalty off you in a League Cup final, doing exactly that, Willie Miller. Right here in this very stadium, as England come down the left-hand side. Level the edge of the Scotland 18 again. Rashford to Bellingham, back towards Rashford. Good slight challenge, Hickey. McGregor to Gilmour, and now McTominay is under pressure. And Trippier, he goes down. Referee doesn't see it as a foul. McGregor leaves it. Here's Kane at the edge of the Scotland box. Harry Kane, right-hand side of the area, goes for a little dink. Did it come off the defender? No, it's a goal kick. Kane's flaming corner. Arms outstretched, looking at the Italian assistant over on this near side. It looked as though it took a nick initially. I think when you see the replay, it quite clearly did, off Kieran Tierney, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it, 100%. It's come off the left knee of Kieran Tierney, and it's a good block as well. Harry Kane just looking to try and be cute and reverse it across the opposite side of Angus Dunn's goal.
I mean, that's a corner all day long. How the referee and his assistant haven't spotted it. But even I noticed it. But anyway, Scotland aren't complaining. Che Adams off, replaced by Ryan Christie. And at least that was the... Yeah, it's going to be Gilmour replaced by Dykes, albeit Christie will obviously be closer to the midfield. As Dykes replaces Gilmour, he's not been able to control things like he's been doing for his club and indeed his country recently. Such a young talent, Billy Gilmour. And I don't know if you managed to see the highlights of young Ben Doak's performance against the Spanish under-21 side for Scotland last night. And any footage you've seen of him playing for Liverpool in pre-season, that is one to be excited about. He's only 17. He looks incredible.
Yeah, he looks outstanding, Liam. I've not seen those highlights, but I've certainly followed his career and his move to Liverpool. A couple of occasions in press conferences, Jurgen Klopp's been asked about him as well. I know he's exciting people down at Liverpool, and he's one that, no doubt, if he breaks into the Liverpool side and consistent performances, there's no doubt we'll see him in the Scotland first team, because if he's producing at that level, he's ready for the national team, no doubt.
Yeah, well, look when Bellingham came into the England team. It's a very different kind of player, but my goodness, what a talent he looks. Ben Doak, keep an eye out for him.
He's different as well. He's different to what we've got, Liam. Just that attacking threat, the pace that he's got in the wide area, really direct.
So Stevie Clarke making those changes. Ryan Christie on for his 41st cap. Lyndon Dykes for his 32nd. Dykes' next goal, incidentally, for Scotland will take him into double figures. He's on the ball here. Rolls it out to this near side for Christie. Good feet by the Bournemouth man. He's started the Premier League season down south really well. With Bournemouth, he's been a regular starter. He plays it short to McGregor. And back left of the centre circle for Hendry. Shifts it to the right of it for Porteous. Still 2-0 to Norway, incidentally, against Georgia. That game had to finish a draw for Scotland to qualify tonight, as Hickey's pass is overhit and it comes right through to Ramsdale after a really good build-up play by Scotland for once tonight. And Ryan Christie at the heart of it did really well, and he was hoping for a better pass back into his feet inside the England box. And on the hour mark, in fact 61 minutes now, it remains Scotland 0, England 2.
Yeah, we're getting a bit more room. You know, I think when England sit off you the way that they're sitting off you, then it does give you a bit more time on the ball to string some passes together. And you would hope to see that in the second half. You know, the fear is that England could just up their game again. They haven't really had that same intent, I don't feel, in the second half. It's almost a case of you feel as though they feel that the game is done and that they're taking it down to walking pace, basically. So that might give us an opportunity or two. Let's hope so.
Look, while it might stick in the craw of the Scotland supporters, they're up against the fourth best team in the world right now, and only Argentina, France and Brazil are ranked above them as things stand. Second best team in Europe, and again it will stick in the craw, but this looks like a squad that could potentially go on and win a major tournament at some point in the near future. Whether it'll be under Gareth Southgate or not, we don't know, but he's clearly going to fancy his chances in Germany next year. England pick up in the midfield. It's rolled forward towards Kane, cut out though by Tierney, who flicks it back to Robertson. The skipper goes back to his goalkeeper.
It's great feat though, isn't it, Bellingham? I think he was fouled as well, but the referee didn't give it.
Scotland have it. McGregor now to McTominay. Hickey to the right. The Scotland supporters trying to get behind their team here and find a route back into this. McTominay with a long switch out to Robertson. First time ball, Robertson. Christie going after it at the byline. He's got there as well. Hooks the ball back towards the penalty spot, but it's headed away by Phillips. McGregor takes over. It's there ahead of his man on this near side. It's picked up by Christie. Little disguise ball to McGregor, to Robertson. Swings it in. It's too deep. That's going to spin over to the far side where Trippier will let it go out for an England throw-in. 63 in, 2-0 England, but much, much better from Scotland.
Yeah, much better. Just looking at the passage of play there, Callum McGregor actually gets in the way, because I think the intended pass was for John McGinn that had just peeled off the shoulder. But much more positive, and what I like from Ryan Christie is that he's sat and he's watched the game. He's watched the game for 60 minutes and he's thought to himself, if I get more opportunity and I go on, how do I influence it? What does the game need? It needs energy, it needs a ball carrier, Willie. It needs somebody just to link the game and be more aggressive, middle to front, and certainly in the couple of minutes that he's been on, he's managed to do that.
Chance for Scotland, a hit from well out by Christie with the left foot. It's wide, well wide. McGinn's a good signal of intent from Ryan Christie. He's already made an impression in this game when others haven't been able to. A very ambitious effort, but they've been left frustrated. They've barely been able to get the ball into the England box, let alone strikes on goal. And it's those two goals in a 3-minute spell in the first half from Foden and Bellingham, and of England 2-0 up and really in cruise control since half-time. We saw Scotland do likewise when 3-0 up in Larnaca on Friday, and it's been a case of that really as far as England are concerned. Here's the chance for McTominay though in the midfield. Rolls it out wide right for Hickey. Hickey forward to McGinn. Back to Hickey. Hickey driving the edge of the area. His efforts blocked brilliantly by Dunk. Magnificent block. That opened up quite beautifully for Aaron Hickey for the strike at goal. He's left frustrated. McGinn with the cross into the box, and Dunk again coolly chests it back to his goalkeeper. England 2-0 up.
Yeah, it's better again from Scotland. Really good play from Aaron Hickey, just coming from the outside into the pitch, travelling, committing bodies. Nice interchange with John McGinn, and really unlucky. But the defending from Lewis Dunk, absolutely casual as you like, Willie.
Yeah.
Would you have done that back in the day?
Of course.
Ball coming at you that speed, just a chest back to the goalkeeper.
Of course, yeah.
Striker looming.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what top quality international defenders are capable of. It was, and again, he deals with the Dykes threat on that occasion. pretty comfortably. But better from Aaron Hickey in particular down that right-hand side, being prepared to take a bit of responsibility and get forward, and almost opens up for him. Just great defending at the end of it.
It wasn't so long ago Lewis Dunk was playing third-tier football in England. Here he is, Premier League player, winning his second cap this evening after 4 years out of the national setup. He was back in June. Injury curtailed his involvement in that, but there was a 4-year break. But Gareth Southgate brought him back in for this month against Ukraine and Scotland tonight. 2-0 England. Here's Hendry. Remains 2-0 to Norway in Georgia, Holland and Odegaard with the goals as Christie shifts it into the centre circle for McTominay. Hickey, it's by far Scotland's best period in the game. Hickey has it on the right, toes it to McTominay into the penalty area. Scotland still have it. McGinn to Hickey, runs into trouble, brilliantly defended by Trippier, and he's found Rashford as England look to hit on the counter here. Marcus Rashford springs across halfway. Bellingham's made a lung-bursting run ahead of him, and he can find him, and he has done. Kane's waiting in the middle. The cross is poor though. He was over the goal and wide and behind for a goal kick for Scotland, and it remains 2-0 to England. What a terrific run by Bellingham again. Didn't have the cross this time though.
No, he's lacking the end product, Liam, but it just shows you how quickly England can move.
Yeah, here's McGinn. Robertson's found himself right-hand side of the box. Low ball in, it's gone! It's in! It's gone in! It's an own goal! And Scotland have one back with a quarter of this friendly to play. Robertson unusually out on the right, and it's come off Harry Maguire and past Ramsdale to give Scotland hope here at Hampden. Scotland 1, England 2.
Well, it was almost like the Scotland fans knew, Liam, that Harry Maguire had a mistake in play from Scotland. It's quick play, it comes to that counter-attack from England. Angus Gunn gets the play going really quickly. In Scotland this time, Mota, you said it, Andy Robertson, he pops up on the right-hand side. He looks to deliver with the right foot. And Harry Maguire, he gets it all wrong. Total confusion between himself and Ramsdale. And he turns it into his own net. Not surprising, I would need to say. Game on.
He's had some stick, isn't he, from the home crowd, Maguire, and he comes up prompt. He simply just strokes into the back of the net. Great work from Andy Robertson, and you're right from the start. Very quick counter. The cross comes in. There's no real danger whatsoever, is there? Good old Harry sticks his foot out and ends up in the back of the net.
Here goes Robertson to Dykes, just slightly behind him, but he's managed to retain it. Back to Robertson. Christie wanted it. In comes the cross, and Dykes with the header goes well wide. But listen to this place now. Listen to this stadium.
It's good play, but I actually thought it was the wrong decision. Ryan Christie's in the overlap on the left-hand side. I think Andy Robertson's just too overzealous to go and deliver and catch England cold again. But it's good play, not enough contact from Lyndon Dykes, but positive play from Scotland. You say, listen to this place now.
Yeah.
We'll see how England deal with the pressure now.
Yeah, I mean, Andy Robertson with that run in the right-hand side of the box, setting up that own goal from Harry Maguire. He's effectively wiped out the error that put England 2-0 up, and Southgate's looking to his bench now, because Scotland are bang right into this game now.
Well, they are, and England brought it on themselves. It's been a lacklustre second half performance. Nothing reflecting the performance they put up in the first half. In Scotland, they've got their tails up.
And Robertson, this time he does pass it to Christie. It's not in space this time as he moves away from Walker. Rolls it back to Tierney and field to McGregor. And then into the centre circle for Hendry. There are just under 21 minutes left of this. This game's not over by any shot now. The gap reduced back to just the one goal. Here's Porteous. Out to the right for Hickey. I mean, this is so much better from Scotland, as Willie says, that England have clearly come off the turbo, but regardless, the changes have worked by Steve Clarke. Christie has been brilliant since he's come on. He's on the ball again on this near side, as that's rolled in field to McGregor to the right of the centre circle for Porteous. The double change for England coming up in just a moment. Scotland still in possession over on the right-hand side. There's McGinn. McGinn rolls it to Dykes. Dykes then back to McGinn. Plenty navy blue ahead of him. Ushers it out wide left for Robertson. Robertson looks up, crosses. It's a good one! It's headed over! What a chance! What a chance for John McGinn, 6 yards out, and he heads it over Ramsdale's bar, and it stays Scotland 1, England 2.
It's a big chance, huge chance for John McGinn. He'll be disappointed, maybe just get his body a little bit too far ahead of the ball. If he times it properly, it's a great cross in, isn't it? And he's got to head that down. He's got to head the ball down. If he heads it down, he's totally free. He comes off his shoulder, actually.
He gets it wrong, Willie, doesn't he?
He does.
He's got to do better when you see it back, because all it needs is a glancing header, because there's enough pace in the ball. The delivery is perfect, but he gets it wrong. It comes off the shoulder, and it's an opportunity missed for Scotland. Certainly England look to the bench now. Liam looking to try and change things up, try and get a stranglehold back in the game.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka of Arsenal has come on, Foden's come off, Rashford's come off as well. And it looks as though they've brought on Eze as well. Eberechi Eze of Crystal Palace. It's a double change for England. Spain do have their third goal against the Cypriots in Scotland's group, incidentally. 3-0 up now, 2-0 to Norway in the game that truly matters. We expected Spain to win that one. Here come England then. In possession over on that left-hand side. Eze is just on. He's playing it short back the way it's now with Calvin Phillips. Phillips over on the far side. England have it. Rice back into his own half. Phillips short, and then back it comes to Maguire, whose own goal has given Scotland hope of coming from 2 goals down to get a positive result yet again. Having strung so many of those together. 6 home wins on the bounce, 11 qualifying groups matches in succession they have won. As Kyle Walker goes long, Eze's in behind the defence. Is he onside? Eze's in for England's third, and brilliant save by Gunn. Magnificent goalkeeping. Hendry back to goalkeeper, and Gunn clears. He looked all the way that the Crystal Palace striker was going to score. It stays 2-1 to England.
No, as it's great. Just make sure that he doesn't go down too early. Angus Gunn there as Eze gets himself totally free, coming in off the left-hand side. That gap again between wing-back and centre-back. He just gallops in. Touch as Hickey tries to get back, but Angus Gunn coming out, stays as big as he can. Should score. Definitely should score, but a good save.
It's too easy though, Willie, isn't it? Because there's no pressure on the ball. No pressure on the ball holder. Naturally, as a back line, you've got to drop, and that's a couple of times tonight. Scotland have just, they've been too risky in terms of the height of the back line and allowed England in behind.
Oh, what a ball by Walker to Trippier, into the Scotland box, low to Eze. Back it comes to Trippier. Crosses in towards Harry Kane. He pushes his man. Surely that's a foul as Kane lashes it home. And it will be a free kick to Scotland. Kane knocking that ball into the net that he scored into on his last visit here in 2017 as Spain grab a 4th goal and their 11th goal of this international window. It's Scotland 1, England 2 here, and it remains Norway 2, Georgia 0 in Oslo.
I wasn't getting away with that one, was he? Kane, it was fully 2 hands in the back of, was it Andy Roberts, or was it?
I think it's Tierney.
Tierney.
And he's smart about it, Willie, as well, because he's back to Kane and he almost just kind of leans into him, knowing that he's going to try and gain that edge. He's probably not going to out-jump Harry Kane, it's the reality, so you can't beat them, join them, as they say.
It is Bellingham leaving it for Kane. Bellingham gets it back, wriggling away from a couple of challenges, going down. No free kick, says the Italian referee, Massa, and then Kane slides in to pinch it back off McTominay. Once again, the referee's happy with that one. England with Rice. Dinks it to the right of the centre circle for Walker. These Scotland are making a game of this now. We were by far and away second best in that first half. With it 2-1 down with 15 and a half to play. They're very much in this match. And they've got the crowd with them now as well. Harry Maguire own goal, reducing the arrears after Foden and Bellingham had given England a 2-0 half-time lead. Declan Rice chipping it to the right of the centre circle for Walker. The changes for England have made a little bit of a difference already. You can see that the last few minutes. Been their best spell in the second half. They're looking positive again, stung by that goal. It's brought Scotland back into the equation. What brilliant footwork there by Bellingham, dancing into the box, going all the way himself, saved by the foot of Gunn. And out it goes for an England throw-in on that far side. Jude Bellingham is only 20 years of age.
He just dances through there, doesn't he? You know, I think you've got to state that it is brilliant. You would hope that one of our defenders would get a challenge in on him. but his footwork is sensational. And it's a good save. I think he's gone again. He gets on his left foot. It's low to the near post and he gets it blocked.
England in possession here. Walker right at the centre circle, back into his own half for Dunk, who plays it back to Walker on this near side. Walker down the right flank. Just one Scotland win against England since 1985. Don Hutchison's goal at Wembley in the futile 1-0 win in the Euro 2000 playoff, having lost 2-0 to those Scholes goals here. Phillips goes back to Dunk. Of course, Christian Daly had that chance, which was unbelievably saved by David Seaman just a few years after he too denied Gary McAllister from the penalty spot at Euro 96. Christie goes back to Robertson, in field to McGregor. Phillips claims handball against McGregor. The referee disagrees. Scotland have it with Robertson, in field to McGregor. McGregor now to Hendry. Roll to the right for Porteous. Porteous forward to McTominay. Back to Porteous, rolls it forward to Dykes. Midway inside the England half, being forced back towards the halfway line. Finds Porteous, big switch from Porteous, looking for Christie, cut out by Walker, and then good spin there by Saka, surely being fouled. The referee eventually gives the free kick, and he's flashed the yellow card as well at Kieran Tierney, his club mate, albeit he's on loan at Real Sociedad just now. Tierney, it's Arsenal's Saka, who wins the free kick.
I think that's the longest jersey pull I've ever seen in a game.
I mean, the referee, the yellow card out his pocket and the foul was still happening.
Incredible.
Walker took the free kick, but the referee wasn't ready. Craig Levine's with us watching. Craig, just bring you in for the last look here at the 13 minutes that are remaining. What are you thinking?
I think Ryan Christie's changed the game. I think he came on with great intent to make a difference, and he's just provided that sort of forward momentum, playing forward, running forward, and he's just brought a new energy, and everybody else is fed off it, and we've raised the levels.
Remember when, Craig, you were manager, remember beating 2-0 down to Spain? There was an OG, I think, when Piqué brought Scotland back into that one. They eventually lost 3-2, having got it back to 2-2. And Saka picks up for England on the near side, rolls it to the edge of the box. Here's Bellingham, just moving back the way a little bit, and then turns, clips it to the right-hand side of the box for Rice. And now it's Walker, time to take a touch, gets a brilliant cross in, knocked away by Porteous. Eze will pick it up, square ball to Rice. Rice finds, he almost found Walker. It was Christie got in the way. Spain 5-0 up now against Cyprus. Here's Saka, his effort charged down by Robertson. And a good period in the game this for England. Here's Rice. Rice looks up, gets the cross ball in. It was unorthodox the way he dealt with it there. He tried to flash it towards Kane. Hickey gets there first, but it's at the expense of an England corner on 78.5. Scotland 1, England 2.
Hickey defends it really well, and it just shows you the vision and the quality that Declan Rice has got, because so many players just would not even have attempted or have seen that pass in the movement from Kane at the back post. But very, very good. Aaron Hickey can do nothing else but turn it behind for the corner.
Lewis Ferguson's going to be on shortly for the Scots. Kieran Trippier will take this England corner, right-footed in-swinger in the northeast corner, and it comes headed away by Dykes. Really good header as well. Takes the pressure right off as Walker picks up in the halfway line and rolls it all the way back to his keeper. Stuart Armstrong will also be on. He'll want to make amends for his error that led to that Kane equaliser in 2017. It's another brilliant, long, big, raking switch of play for England out to that left-hand side, rolled back to Bellingham. Now he's found Rice. Short ball square to Phillips, and then back to Maguire. Knocking on the last 10 minutes of this international challenge match. There's Maguire to Rice, and Rice switches it left to right of the circle for Dunk. Short ball in field to Walker. Two Scotland subs waiting the touchline to come on. There's Phillips, forward to Saka. England are controlling things again, as they were in the first half. Perhaps not as much space are they creating as they did in the opening 45 minutes, but since the Scotland goal and the own goal, it's been all about England, and the changes, Eze and Saka coming on, have made a difference. And here's Bellingham picking it up. Christie snapping at his heels, but Bellingham shrugs him off. Lovely turn, knocks it through to Kane, and there's only one outcome when Harry Kane gets into that kind of position. And England's record scorer with the left foot rolls it home to re-establish the 2-goal lead for the visitors. Kane simply does not miss from that close a range, and it's Scotland 1, England 3. Harry Kane with his 59th for his country.
That's hard not to compliment the quality from Bellingham again. He receives it, Liam, he turns. He's only got one thought in his mind, and that's to play forward. But the concern here is that Harry Kane, at no point is anybody really close to him, and his movement's so good. He's world class, and if you give him that time and you give him that space, there's only one thing that's going to happen, only one outcome, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. But Jude Bellingham again, really outstanding. He's really top drawer.
It's superb. I mean, his balance, the centre of gravity he's got, the way he takes that ball in and turns, and then has a vision to see Kane. But Kane's fabulous. He just steps away, steps out of it. It almost looks as though he's not interested in getting the ball. He is interested. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and when that's laid in a plate in front of him, he's not going to miss that, is he? He just slides it into the back of the net. Again, fabulous play from England.
It's what he does. Harry Kane of Bayern Munich nowadays has managed 3 goals in his first few appearances in the Bundesliga. Scotland's double change there, then Tierney and McGinn have come off. Armstrong and Ferguson have come on. Lewis Ferguson, who started the season so well at Bologna, scored against Juventus in Turin. Took his goal really well in that 1-1 draw. And Scotland pick up a free kick, and it's knocked into Christie, but the ref wasn't happy, wasn't ready for it to be taken. 82 minutes gone, and that, you suspect, will be Scotland's chances of taking a positive result out of this game gone. Harry Kane scoring there, his favourite end at Hampden. It won't have the same kind of repercussions as the one he netted here in World Cup qualifying in 2017. But again, it's another lesson for the Scottish defence when you're coming up against a Tier 1 side who have world-class forward players, and you don't get much more world-class than Harry Kane when it comes to the striker department. You cannot miss a beat as Armstrong swings the free kick in. Porteous does get his head to it. He's having a little look at the referee, claiming he was impeded as he heads it behind for a goal kick to England. And it will remain at 3-1 to England, which was the score the last time they came here on friendly duty when they won 3-1 at Celtic Park. Andy Robertson scored his first international goal that night as England prepared to make a double change. And again, that goal's just ended all Scottish thoughts and hopes of taking a decent result out of this one as Bellingham takes his leave of absence. And how good has he been? He's going to be replaced, I think. Callum Wilson of Newcastle's going to come on, and Conor Gallagher of Chelsea will also come on. Both of them have been started for their respective clubs this season. Wilson at Newcastle, as I say, Gallagher at Chelsea, and Kane comes off as well as Spain goes 6-0 up against Cyprus in Granada. It remains 2-0 to Norway against Georgia. The only way Scotland could have qualified for the Euros tonight was if that game ended in a draw, but first half goals from Holland and Odegaard have ended Scotland's hopes of that particular outcome this evening. Goals from Foden, Bellingham and Kane have ended Scottish hopes and thoughts of getting something out of this game, albeit it is just a friendly, as painful as it would be to the opposition that it is.
It's a shame actually, Liam, because Stuart Armstrong and Lewis Ferguson were both readied, waiting to come on. And we've seen the impact that Ryan Christie's had in the game, as Craig came in and mentioned as well. Lyndon Dykes has had a contribution in that as well, added fresh energy, and I would have liked to have seen it stay 2-1 and hope that those boys could have made an impact. But the third goal certainly looks to have put it out of reach for Scotland.
Yeah, but it was a brilliant goal, wasn't it? You know, Bellingham, I think it's been a privilege to watch him here tonight, to be perfectly honest. The turn was superb. Really difficult to pin someone with that ability down. You know, and you're asking midfield players to do it as well. And once he's past your midfield, and then I think it was Tierney, you can see he's watching the ball, he's watching Bellingham, when really perhaps he should be picking up Kane. But if he picks up Kane, Bellingham's right through. Yeah. Difficult situation.
Do you know what? Birmingham City took a lot of stick when they retired his jersey when he left for Dortmund at the age of 17. it's looking like it could be a pretty historic thing to have actually done. When you see what he's like at 20, what's he going to be like in 5 years?
Yeah, he's incredible. It has been a pleasure to watch him tonight, and he's got that bit about him. I think it was Richard mentioned at half-time, he's got a bit of bite, not a nastiness about him, but there's a competitive edge there with him. And to have that at 20 years old as well, to be able to bite and scratch and have a go at those senior players around you as well and demand more, he's got absolutely everything to his game, and he's only going to get better. That's why he's at Real Madrid.
Yeah, player of the month in La Liga. His brother Job Bellingham, who's, I think he's just 17 at the moment, he plays for Sunderland. He was player of the month in the English Championship, plays for Sunderland. And Dad was a footballer as well, not quite to the same levels as Jude Bellingham is already at his stage of his career in Real Madrid. Walker picks up on the near side, 4 minutes left, 3-1 to England. The England fans celebrating. And Willie, they've got to be happier now watching this performance tonight, surely, because they're hard to please.
Yeah, I would say, you know, maybe the beginning of the second half for about 20 minutes until Scotland really annoyed them and scored the goal. But yeah, I mean, it's been a top-class performance. First half, absolutely outstanding. And when they had to up their game a lot well, it was quite easily done. You know, they just switched the engine on, didn't they? Up to gear. They've got quality, they've got class. They're a joy to watch. They are a top nation. And they're here tonight, so we can judge ourselves against them. And you can see there is a big gulf there, but at the same time, you know, that's you've got to try to narrow that gulf if you're getting into the Euros. And I'm sure that Steve Clarke will take a lot from this game.
Yeah, I mean, there are positive. Christie's impact when he came on. Angus Gunn's made some excellent saves. As England pick up with Maguire, I think Nathan Patterson's going to be on shortly for Scotland. Their final change. Final chance for Steve Clarke to hand out a cap in this window. And he'll start preparations for Seville and the visit to Spain next month. Scotland win that one, they're through to the finals. Simple as that. It's not going to happen tonight unless Georgia do what Scotland did in Oslo in June. 3-0 down. Georgia need to score twice in the closing minutes for Scotland to qualify this evening. As Dunk was back to his goalkeeper, but this game's over now. England just knocking it around. And Maguire picks up the Scotland fans, can't even be bothered to berate Harry Maguire. First time Dunk out to Walker on this near side. He's turning away from Christie, squaring it infield to Phillips. They're kind of toying with Scotland now.
Well, there's two players that we haven't really spoken about, as Phillips and Rice in the midfield. And they've absolutely controlled the game in there, haven't they? Controlled it superbly. Different way from the excitement that you get from the front four. But, you know, what a pairing.
I think Richard mentioned it beforehand. Their impact at the European Championship a couple of summers ago was huge, if uncredited at times. So 2 changes in Scotland's last substitute interval, and Ryan Jack will also be coming on along with Nathan Patterson. And off is coming McGregor, and he's replaced by Ryan Jack, who comes on for cap number 17. And Nathan Patterson will come on for his 15th cap in place of Aaron Hickey for the last few minutes, because we're in the 90th minute now with England leading 3-1.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do, isn't it? You know, getting the cap numbers up. You know, I think that helps mentally with players as well. The more kind of caps you get, even though, you know, it might be just on for kind of a few minutes of the game, I think it still gives you that feeling of you know, amassing the caps and being able to use that you know, to make you a better player.
Georgia have scored in Oslo 2-1. There's 2.5 minutes left to play. Apparently they couldn't do what Scotland did, surely, can they? I mean, perhaps the drama hasn't finished yet. They haven't incidentally taken Haaland off this time, Norway, which seemed to set the tone for them in that game in June. But Georgia, I've just heard, have pulled one back in stoppage time. Norway 2, Georgia 1. One more Georgia goal and Scotland are going to the Euros tonight. 3 minutes added on here in this friendly. This game's done now. 3-1 England. It's been a comfortable evening for Southgate and co. It's a long ball up towards Dykes. He couldn't quite get it under control and drops out to that far side. England have it with Declan Rice facing his own goal. And he will roll it out to Lewis Dunk, who's been excellent, the veteran for England this evening. Next birthday will be 32, and it's just his second cap for his country. It's picked up here, Dunk looking for an option ahead of him, and decides to shift it to Maguire. Maguire into the midfield for Rice, and he goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Ramsdale chipping it forward, looking for Walker to flick on, which he does for Saka. Beaten to it by Jack, but illegally, says the referee. And that's going to be a free kick. Zibzidadze got the Georgian goal. Time, though, getting away from them. And this game got away from Scotland a while ago now. We're in the second of 3 minutes of stoppage time that was added on by the Italian referee. Certainly a testing fixture list, Willie, with Spain to come. And that's the big game next month. And then there's the friendly against France, which could be the night that they do, assuming Georgia don't score again, qualify for the European Championship.
Yeah, I think you can maybe take what you've learnt tonight into the game against Spain, can't you? You know, coming up against quality opposition, you know, pot one type team as well, and you know, you go into that game with a bit of confidence, even although they've been well beaten tonight, and you hope that maybe Spain are a little bit off it and Scotland can up their game. They haven't been really at the races, but I think it's because of the opposition. The opposition have played so well this evening.
Spain 6-0 up on Cyprus, and beaten Georgia 7-1 on Friday. They haven't been off it in this international window. 2 games you would have expected the Spanish to pick 6 points up from. They have done just that. Remains 2-1 Norway in Oslo. Deep into stoppage time in that game. It's England in possession over on the far side, midway inside their own half. Now it's with Rice. Rice digs it out to Dunk. It's only a matter of time before England qualify themselves. They will have the opportunity to do so when they host Italy next month. That long ball is chased down by Saka. It's going to come through to Gunn. We'll just play it short to Robertson. He moves it back to Hendry at the edge of the Scotland box. Porteous side putting it out to the right for Patterson. Under pressure from Eze. The referee's seen enough. It's all over at Hampden. And a night that promised so much for the Scotland supporters ends in disappointment here against England. Mesmeric first half performance by Gareth Southgate's side, who will surely be big challengers for the European Championship title in Berlin in the final at the Olympiastadion next year. And they've managed to put Scotland to the sword this evening. 2 goals in 3 first half minutes. Firstly from Phil Foden, and then from Jude Bellingham, the second owing much to an Andy Robertson error. Robertson's cross ball in the second half came off Maguire to reduce the arrears. All too briefly for Stevie Clarke's team, though. And Harry Kane got his traditional goal as he was slipped in by the uber-impressive Real Madrid midfielder Jude Bellingham, who is an absolute powerhouse. If you like watching midfield players in particular, he is going to be a joy to behold in the years to come, whether it's in an England shirt or a club jersey in Real Madrid. Supporters very lucky to be able to watch him on a weekly basis. It's finished in Oslo, incidentally, 2-1 to Norway, so there will be no Euro 2024 qualification for Scotland this evening. That game at the end in a draw for that to happen tonight. It's in their hands, though. Just 2 more points required. They win in Seville against Spain and do the double as they did against the French in Euro 2008 qualifying. They will go through to the finals next summer. It might be, though, they have to wait even longer than that when Norway take on Spain the night the Scots are in Lille to take on the French in a friendly. It's an incredible fixture list that is facing Steve Clarke's team, but with a potential finals appearance against the big guns to come next summer, followed by Nations League A. There's going to be a lot more of this standard of opposition being put up against them. It finishes here, though, in the 150-year celebratory friendly between these two sides, two divides of the old enemy. Scotland 1, England 3.
Scotland